Hi folks. So yeah, we're starting a new topic. Now actually, as I've written this out, I've suddenly realised actually we did start it last week and I kind of forgot to do the big announcement of a new topic. So last week you did some work on enlargements, okay, and that does fall underneath this title of transformations. So transformations are when we change things in maths. So we're looking at 2D shapes and we're going to change them. So for example, enlargements, which is what you did last week, and we were making the shapes bigger, okay, and actually one of them was made smaller, okay, because enlargements, oh, that's not very, I don't think you can see that one, can you? Aren't always larger, which is strange because enlargement, we think it's, well, it's going to get bigger. It doesn't necessarily always get bigger. Sometimes an enlargement can make things smaller, and in maths that happens a lot, so we need to be just careful with that, okay? It doesn't always make them bigger or larger. So that's the ones we looked at last week. I was just thinking actually about this word transformations. It always reminds me of transfiguration in Harry Potter, when they change things. So like they transfigure teacups to look like different things. And also like the Transformers, you know, the cars that turn into robots. It's the same thing, but it's changed, okay? And that's really what we're doing here. So the first one I've got on the list here, and this is what you're going to be doing today, is reflections, okay? And it doesn't need too much explanation. A reflection is a bit like how a mirror works, okay? So we're going to be reflecting things. Look a little bit like this. We'll have a line of reflection. We'll have a shape on one side, and we're going to reflect it so it's on the other side as well. Okay, something like that. Rotations are when we rotate an object, okay? I was going to do that this week with reflections with you, but there's quite a lot in reflections for you to take in, especially because I'd like you to try and draw your own lines to reflect in, okay? So there is quite a lot there for you, so I'm going to do rotations next week. And rotations is when we rotate an object. Don't suppose a square is the best thing to rotate, it's going to look the same. But let's say we had a triangle there, and we're going to rotate it all the way so it comes down here, okay? Don't worry too much about those, we're going to have a full lesson on them, okay? And this is the one that people tend to get muddled up on, translations, which I nearly spelt wrong. I tried to write translate instead of translations. Translations is when we move a shape, okay? So we might have our axes here, and we'll have a let's go triangle up here, and we're going to move it so it goes here, for example, okay? And translations makes me think of when you translate a language, okay? You might translate hello to bonjour, and they still mean the same thing, okay? It's just been moved to a different place. So the same as this, really. It's the same shape, it's just been moved, okay? So that might just help with the word. So that's kind of what we're doing at the moment. So I've got a couple of examples here of how to reflect objects. I've just done 3. I have got another one in mind though for me to do just before we finish. We'll just see how we get on with these ones first. Okay, so when we reflect, we're given a line of reflection, okay? That's this one here, normally a dotted line. You're not always given the line. Sometimes you're told to draw it, okay? So you might be told, reflect in the line x equals 1. Okay, and we did do those a few weeks, how to draw those lines, okay? So you'd have your axes with the numbers on, a bit like this, and you draw the line x equals 1. So you've had a lesson already on that. If you need to look back, find the video, I have linked it for you, just on how to do that, on how to draw those lines. But these ones here, I've given you the line. So what we do, we look at each corner of our object that we're going to reflect, and we take it. So I'm going to start with this corner here, okay? And I need to know how many squares across do I need to go to reach my mirror line, my reflection line there, okay? And I've had to go 2 across. So I have to come 2 out on the other side, okay? I'm going to pop a big cross there because that corner is now here, okay? Now I'm going to do that for every single corner. So I'm going to do it up here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and then these ones which are a little further away, just need to be careful. I'm going to loop them over the top so I don't get muddled up. 1, 2, 3 to get to the line. 1, 2, 3 to come out. So I've got across there. Oh, very close to my next example, that. And this one I'm going to go down here. 1, 2, 3 to the line. 1, 2, 3 out. And from that, you should be able to draw with your ruler. Join up your new points to create your reflected object. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's your final object. And sometimes, I'm not going to put too much pressure on you to do this at the moment, but we usually call the first shape we start off with a letter, we call it A, B, C, something just to label it, and the new one we'd call a dash. Okay, just so we know this is the original, this is the reflection. Okay, so let's try it again. I'm going to do it with a triangle this time. Let's just see how we go with the triangle. So we've only got 3 points to do here, so even though it looks fiddly, it's actually less work. There's only 3 to do. So this point here, 1 to the line, so 1 out. This point here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out. I hope you can see these squares very well. I did try and print this in so it wasn't too dark, because I know the darker ones like this one were a little bit difficult to see the drawing on. Okay, so there's our second point, and then the last one is the one up here. 1, 2, 3 to the line, 1, 2, 3 out. Okay, and now we just have to join up our points to create our reflected object. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's call this shape B. So this is B dash. Okay, I've just got this last one here to show you. This is actually, I kind of thought they were like little bubbles or something. And this time my line is going across here instead of, it's kind of horizontal instead of a vertical line. But that's okay, it shouldn't make any difference. We will do this in the same way still. So for each of these, I'm going to just go until I hit the line. So straight to the line. I'm not going like across at an angle or anything. I'm going straight down to the line. So 1 and 1. And actually you might find that once you've done a couple, you can actually see where that shape's going to land. Okay, so let's do this one up here. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's going to go there. So actually from that, if you feel confident, you might be able to say, well, I can see where that shape's going to land. I don't need to do the other two. Sorry. Now sometimes they're really tricky shapes. I'm going to give you some quite mean shapes sometimes, and you'll need to draw quite a few points on. You'd be surprised how difficult they can be actually. The squares aren't they quite nice to do, aren't they? And then the second one of them to go on there. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that one goes there. So I can't even see where this is going to land. I need to do another one. I might even do the opposite diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that they're the diagonals of my square, so it must go here. Okie dokie. Okay, so that's how we do those. Now I haven't drawn out, but I am going to just quickly do a short sketch for you, because I would like you to see how to do these on a diagonal, because it trips people up quite a lot. The diagonals do, okay, they do trip people up. So I'm just going to show you an example. That's my pen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just draw a diagonal line here, and you'd be given this in the, in the questions. I'm not going to ask you to draw some of these. Okay, so there's my line, and I'm going to reflect. Let's see. We will do let's do a rectangle, okay? It's not a very exciting shape, but when it's the first time you've done one of these, we don't want to go crazy, okay? We want to have like something that's manageable. Okay, well, rectangle's a bit more exciting than a square. Okay then, so this time it's a little bit difficult, isn't it? Because we can't go, well, we can go straight to the line, but that's more than one, isn't it? More than one square, because it's a diagonal. So you can either, there's two ways to do this, okay? You can either go down to the line like this, 3, as long as you make sure you come back out of that 90-degree angle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it doesn't come down like this, because if you picture that as a mirror sitting there, your reflection is going to be over here somewhere. It's not going to be down here. And if you've got a mirror at home, like a small handheld mirror, use it. It helps, okay? It really helps you visualise what's happening here. Okay, my favourite way to do these is actually to go across the diagonals though. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, but I've got one diagonal to the mirror line and one diagonal out for that corner. Be really careful with these. I wouldn't even try just doing a couple of these, not yet at least. Okay, like just drawing 2 corners. I'd do all 4 corners just for now. This one here, 2 diagonals to the mirror line, 2 diagonals out of the mirror line, because these don't look like you'd expect them to look once they're finished. Because look at this one here. This one goes, you still see what I'm doing there, 1.5 diagonals to the mirror line. So we've got a half, and then there's the 1 there coming back out. And the last one, 2.5 going in. So a half, 1, 2 coming out. Okay, so there's our reflected shape. Let's just draw it in. We can see the 4 corners now. But yeah, it doesn't really look how you'd expect it to look compared to the ones that we've just done. You know, we kind of think it would look, I don't know, more even. So have a go at those. Now I've got one more to show you, just one more, and that's this one here. And this is I'm going to do it quite quickly because you have done this before, but this is me. I just want to show you how these are done when you're asked to draw the line. Okay, so I'm going to call this shape A, and this is the way the questions are normally asked. Okay, I'd like to see shape A reflected in the line, let's say x equals 1. Okay, that's how your question would normally look. So we want to reflect shape A in the line x equals 1. Well, the first thing we have to do is draw the line, okay, because it's not there at the moment. We have to draw the line. So let's find x equals 1. I'm trying to find a pen that's not going to blend in with everything else. So the line for x equals 1 goes through here, okay, because everywhere on that line, x coordinate of any point on there will always be 1. I have got another video on that, so just have a look back at it if you need to, just to remind yourselves. So I'm going to do it as a dashed line so I don't muddle it up with my axes. Okay, so now we're back to where we were a moment ago, where we're going to reflect into the line and back out. But people just trip up a little bit here just because the axes are there, and it just throws you off a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go this corner 1, 2 in, 1, 2 out, so that goes there. Okay, don't let the axes make you think this is more difficult than it needs to be. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and then these ones over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the line, 1, 2, 3, 4 out, and from that I think we can see, because it's a square, the last point is going to be there, and we can label that up. Okay, right, so there's our A dash. It's our new shape, but we call it the image. Yeah, have a go at those, please. Take a couple of those down as notes, and please get your sheets back to me by Sunday. Okay, thank you.